This is the fastest hypercar every country has ever made, and the world record top speed for a production car is 496 kilometers an hour. Every car in here is one somebody bought and drove home. No prototypes, no show stands. China, Yanguangyu 9 Xtreme, 496.22 kilometers an hour, 308.33 miles an hour, one-way, ATP Poppenburg. September 14th, 2025, Mark Basseng driving. 2,977 horsepower, 4 in-wheel motors, a brand that only launched in 2023. The fastest speed any production car has ever recorded belongs to the company that also builds electric city buses. You can buy one technically, 30 will ever be built. The first sold for about $2.76 million US and was handed over on the stand at Auto China 2026 by BYD's chairman Wang Chuanfu personally. So it clears the rule. One paying customer, one set of keys on camera. But hold on to one detail. There's no two-way average on that number. They measured it going one way. There was no return pass. Remember that because the next country's entire case is built on it. Quick thing while we're here, because I can't settle it myself. Should fastest mean the biggest number anyone has ever recorded or the clean two-way average? Tell me in the comments which one you'd count, because depending on your answer, this video has a completely different winner. USA SSC Tuatara. 282.9 miles an hour, 455.3 kilometers an hour, two-way average, both directions, January 17th, 2021, on the shuttle runway at the Kennedy Space Center. There's the return pass. America loses the headline by 40.9 kilometers an hour and wins the only record that cancels out the wind. The driver was Dr. Larry Kaplan, who owned the car because SSC delivered the first production Tuatara to him in August 2019. The 2021 run happened in a delivered customer car. The company has never published how many it handed over, but it's nowhere near the 100 it planned. It matters because the loud number came first. 331 miles an hour, October 2020. Taken apart within days by YouTubers with Google Maps and the landmarks in SSC's own video. They eventually admitted it. Then it went back out and did it properly, and later ran 295 miles an hour one way in May 2022. A bigger American number nobody quotes. A record can be completely real and still not be the number anyone remembers. France knows the feeling. France. Bugatti Chiron Super Sport, 300 plus, 490.484 kilometers an hour, 304.773 miles an hour, one-way, Aralesian, August 2nd, 2019. Andy Wallace driving. All 30 customer cars were built and delivered, the first two in October 2021, and the run is finished. France passes. Except, remember the rule. The car that set that record was a pre-production prototype. Extra aero, beefed up safety gear, reinforced Michelins. The 30 cars that actually reach customers are designed for 440 kilometers an hour, 50 short of the number on the poster. The cars pass. The number doesn't. And that's the second biggest speed on this list. Then, Bugatti quit. Same press release as the record. Stefan Winkelmann announced the company would withdraw from the competition to build the fastest production cars. It won the fight and left the ring. One more thing, Andy Wallace is British. French record, German track, British driver. He's got unfinished business a few countries from here. Sweden, Koenigsegg Jesko Absolut. 531 kilometers an hour, about 330 miles an hour, simulated. Never attempted. Not once. The biggest number in this entire video came out of maths. A chassis dyno spun past 500 kilometers an hour and hit the rev limiter in 9th gear, and then Koenigsegg ran out of planet. No road long enough, no tires that survive it. Customer absolutes exist. The first one was the 20th customer Jesko overall, delivered to Garage in Lucerne. So Sweden qualifies. It just qualifies on a number nobody has ever driven. What Sweden has actually measured is different. 0 to 400 to 0 kilometers an hour in 25.21 seconds. The fastest quarter mile ever run by a petrol production car. 8.54 seconds at 189.5 miles an hour. Sweden wrote the answer key and then found out the exam hall doesn't exist. And look at what those records actually measure. Acceleration, not top speed. Hold that thought. Croatia. Rimac Nevera R. 431.45 kilometers an hour, 268.2 miles an hour. One way, Papenburg again. July 2025. Verified by Dussoft. 24 records in a single session, including 0 to 400 to 0 in 25.79 seconds, which Koenigsegg took back off them roughly a month later. There's the acceleration answer. Rimac holds the outright production quarter mile, around 7.9 seconds. Petrol, electric, doesn't matter. Nothing has beaten it. Deliveries began late in 2025. 40 cars, 10 of them Founders Editions, and the first of those went to its owner at the ICE St. Moritz in January 2026. And on the day of the record run, Bloomberg's headline read, Rimac's slow-selling Nevera R, fastest accelerating production car in the world. Slow-selling production car. Both true. Also, look at where these records keep happening. Germany, Papenburg, Arlesian, the Nürburgring. 3 countries' biggest runs so far, all on German tarmac. Germany is the landlord of top speed, and everyone else is renting. Its own entry, Mercedes-AMG One, 352 kilometers an hour claimed. And that figure is a limiter cap, not an aero limit. 1,049 horsepower from an F1 derived 1.6-liter turbo V6 and 4 electric motors. 275 cars, customer deliveries running from 2022 into 2023. It also lapped the Nürburgring in 629.090 in September 2024. The first road car under 630. The tuner claim, for completeness, 9FF says it built 20 GT9 RS, good for a claimed 420 kilometers an hour that was never tested. Says claimed. Never tested. 3 hedges in one sentence. So the AMG stays Germany's real answer. Germany supplies the track and the clocks. Its fastest delivered car is a speed limiter, still tidier than the next country, where the fastest car might belong to somebody else entirely. Italy, Bugatti EB110 SS, 351 kilometers an hour, recorded at Nardo in 1993. Hand-built in Campo Galliano near Modena under Romano Artioli, who revived the marque 40 years after Etri Bugatti died. Real customer cars sold and delivered in the 90s. So Italy's fastest car ever might be a Bugatti, which is exactly the paperwork nonsense a list like this deserves. The factory was abandoned in 1995 and rotted for decades. Modern Italy, Ferrari F80, 1,184 horsepower, 350 kilometers an hour, claimed 217 miles an hour, 799 cars, everyone reserved before anybody saw it. The first European delivery went to a UK buyer on Christmas Day 2025, with cars going out through 2027. Customers have them right now, meaning the hardest Ferrari in decades is slower on paper than Italy's 1993 Bugatti chapter. That old number keeps outrunning the new ones. The next country has the same problem in reverse. Its oldest record is still its cleanest. United Kingdom, McLaren F1, 240.1 miles an hour, 386.4 kilometers an hour. Two-way average, Arlesian. March 31st, 1998. Driver, Andy Wallace. I told you to remember him. The man who gave Britain the cleanest record of the 20th century is the same man who drove France's prototype past 321 years later. 106 F1s built, 64 of them road cars. Nothing else here comes close on delivery. Now, the McLaren Speedtail. 403 kilometers an hour. 250 miles an hour, hit more than 30 times by Kenny Brack. All 106 Speedtails built and delivered, the run finished at the end of 2020. Every single customer got theirs. And the 250 came from prototype XP2. So France wasn't a one-off. 2 of the biggest numbers in this video came from cars nobody could buy. Even when a manufacturer hands over every last car it promised, the headline speed can still belong to a car that was never for sale. That's how the number gets made every time. Sometimes the delivery fact is a better story than the speed. Watch. Czech Republic, Praga Bohema. Around 300 to 305 kilometers an hour, claimed the manufacturer's own figure. 700 horsepower from a Nissan-derived twin-turbo V6 and 982 kilograms, which is lighter than some of the option lists in this video. Praga has been going since 1907. Aircraft, aero engines, trucks, gearboxes, then a road car. It's first in roughly 80 years by the company's own reckoning. First customer car, December 6th, 2024, to a Dutch owner. Planned run, 89. Actually delivered by the middle of 2025, somewhere between 3 and 6. 3 customer-owned Bohemas turned up and ran at Goodwood in 2025, which is 3 more than most of these numbers can prove. The slowest headline so far, and the most honest. South Korea, Oullim Spirra CregiT EX, 320 kilometers an hour, 199 miles an hour claimed. 600 horsepower from a Hyundai-derived V6. The 2.7-liter Delta in the smaller cars was a Sonata engine, a nation that turns out millions of cars a year. Its national supercar is a hand-assembled mid-engine thing running saloon DNA, and about 31 of them existed by October 2012. The number that actually stings is the sales figure. Only about 3 were sold in Korea. The rest were exported. Korea built its own supercar, and Korea, respectfully, said no thank you. Deliveries happened, barely, and that leads to the last one, because delivery can still be a collapse. Australia, Brabham BT62, about 320 kilometers an hour, 200 miles an hour an estimate, and it moves depending on what gears they fit. 700 horsepower, naturally aspirated V8, built in Adelaide. It went to Mount Panorama and ran a 158.67, independently verified. It lapped Bathurst like the mountain had personally wronged it, and it passes the rule. Delivery started in 2020. Paying customers took delivery. 70 cars were planned. Plausibly, single digits actually went out the door. And in January 2024, the brand was dissolved. We started by cutting every car nobody could actually buy, and the ones that survived the cut aren't safe either. The customer gets the keys, the invoice clears, the car is real, and the company still doesn't make it to the end of the decade. Delivery is the bar. It was never the promise.